I had a question that came in last week afterwards, and they were talking about customer service. And here's the question that came in. And actually, a couple of them came in over 2 weeks, but it was on the same topic. It's like, hey, BizDoc, when it comes to customer service, I'm looking at AI. I'm also looking at people showing me 800 numbers where you could have AI responding to customers and answering questions for them. What do you think about that for customer service? I don't necessarily have a lot of money for staff, and I don't necessarily want to have people in a foreign country that maybe do not know my company the way I do it. I'd rather have people that understands the culture of my company. And so I'm very concerned about this because I do need customer service. There was another question that came out about customer service. So I decided, okay, let me dive in and do a quick BizDoc case study on customer service and AI and new systems. And let's find out what we turn up. So I went out there. And the first thing I did was, and if we can, there's a blue chart on customer service there, Malik, that Kepios did. You see that one? Should be page 5.
Got it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the second one. Let's go to the next one. That's the platforms. So anyway, I looked at it and I wanted to say, well, what do people expect for customer service? And I discovered something, that just like how people felt about being comfortable, about how certain they were and comfortable they were in their job, guess what? Generations also felt all very differently about customer service. Check this out. So I looked at it and I found out that 60% of consumers felt that Facebook and 35% of consumers felt that Instagram was a good place to go for customer service. I said, great. Then I said to myself, I want to go look up the Instagram user base real quick. Who's using Instagram? And look what we found out. No surprise, 30% of Instagram users worldwide were 18 to 24, almost 31, call it 31, and 30% 25 to 34. So when you put those together, that's 61%. So 61%, of Instagram users are 18 to 34. And then there was a good chunk, almost 16%, that were 35 to 44. But I sat back and I said, well, that's very interesting. And I dove into this a little bit more. And so I went back to the platforms. So I said, that's who's using it. So let's go to the other chart on the platforms and check this out. Very interesting. This is the platforms that are used. Here we go. That brands use for customer service. And guess what? Consumers depend 60% of the time on Facebook for customer service, and marketers 69%, and Instagram only 35%, but 60% for marketers. So this is what it told me. It was very interesting. It told me that people 18 to 35 years old, about 60% of them would find it acceptable to go to Facebook for customer service. Now that's big, but also means that 40% wouldn't, and only 35% of them would go to Instagram. So guess what? I started diving into this, and here's the analysis I found. Customer service, if you sell shirts and you are wanting to have good customer service, you know what? If you can't be reached and they can't reach a human, 40% of everyone, including Gen Z and millennials, are disappointed. But if you're only selling to Gen Z and millennials, 61% of them would say it's perfectly acceptable to have online customer service, and 60% of them would say it'd be fine if you had that through Facebook. Interesting stuff, isn't it? So what I found is that under 35 years old, 60% would almost expect a social media platform, specifically Facebook, Instagram, to be a place they could go for customer service. Now, YouTube was also in there for customer service, and I went in and I looked at it, but I found this out. YouTube is only good for customer service on a how-to basis. When people would watch, videos that were on YouTube that talked about the quality of product and how it was made, no, that's not what they want. What they want to know is, here's how I replace the batteries in this child's toy. You have to pull the fur off this paw of the dog, unscrew this. You can get in there and put the battery in it so that the little mechanical dog will work again. People referred to that as customer service. And 20% of the time, people said it was good that that could be on YouTube. Well, that makes perfect sense. Malik, how many times have you gone to search on YouTube for like a customer service thing or a how-to, or, you know, how do I put this back together?
One of the primary reasons I use YouTube is for some type of searches to how to.
Exactly. You know, the BizDoc was helping the BizDoc mom, and she had an issue with her dryer, but her dryer wasn't that old. But I typed in the model number of her dryer and the company that made it, and guess what? I had the appliance guy from Fort Lee, New Jersey, and I would go in there and he said, this is how you open up the back. And you can go on Amazon, just order the motor and a belt, and it goes together like this. And I watched that twice, and I said, that's not so bad. And I went and I looked the motor. The motor was 80 bucks, 20 bucks for shipping and some other parts, but I ordered it. So for about 100, 105 bucks, I got this box with these parts and a motor and a belt. And remember, Amazon Prime, boom, it arrived in 2 days. So mom was only 2 days without the dryer. I went back over to her house, I put it in there, and guess what? Fired right up and it worked. I found out that she had found local appliance repair that sends a guy to your house who's got a truck full of parts. They had a minimum fee of $120 if it was repaired for the service call. And it's going to be more if it takes more than an hour. So she was going to pay $120 for somebody's time and truck, and I know they have a time and truck to come over there. I found a customer service video endorsed by the company, and I did it myself. Not everybody is so good on how to. What was interesting about dial-in customer service where you want to make an exchange or have something, people want a human. And guess what? Corporate America needs to get over this one, right? You know, the biggest lie, you know what the biggest lie in America has been since the year 2000? I found a survey on this. The biggest lie in America that people say they hear is the following. Please listen to this entire message because our options have recently changed. It's like, your options haven't changed in 20 years, Delta Airlines. You know, what is that crap? You know, please listen to the entire message because our options have recently changed. Baloney! That's a lie. And by the way, it replaced the #1 lie of the 80s and 90s. Yes, I'll still love you. Yes, I'll love you if you sleep with me. So you know, that lie going back to college was dethroned by the corporate lie on the recorded customer service line. But here's the lesson for us, for you, me, and people running a business. You know what people want? Do not lay off your Aunt Gloria with the smooth voice. She's exactly who customers over 35 want to speak to when they call your company. And we know sometimes you may have to outsource for lower cost, but if there's any way that your customer service can avoid AI and avoid social media for the over 35 people, do it. Those customers will be loyal to you. They want to speak to someone to return those shoes that didn't quite fit. They want to speak to someone with a question. And while you know, I understand that you say, well, customers sometimes get lazy and they just call us for answers. Okay, but you just called them a customer. And if you want to keep a customer, it's not catering to their every whim, but it is doing things to put yourself in a position so that you can meet their needs. And what's interesting about this is all customer care is not made equal, and I think you need to be smart about it. But I think the answer to the question is no, I would not automatically go to AI. I would say, how do I make the customer service phone call the first step in a repeat sale, which is a whole different way of looking at it. And if you let the CFO look at customer service, all they're going to see is cost, and they're going to want to move the call center offshore and do a lot of things like that. If you look at it from a how can I save costs on customer service, maybe have a product that's easy to use in the first place, maybe be sure you're selling people the right size in the first place, maybe that's, you know, a good sale the first time that avoids customer service is good, but then also, you know, moderating what you're doing. So there's my answer for customer service. There's a lot of facts in there, and I'm deliberately not going to a hard recommendation because everybody's business is different. Whether you're running a software company in California or a t-shirt company in Berlin, it's all going to be a little bit different. But I think this tells you what the customers are thinking, and generations of customers think differently.